Morning. It's Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. Marissa, my video diary. The time has come. The time has come once again to drink from skulls. No. I feel like starburst from the lamp this morning. What is this about? Was ist das? I don't know. I'm getting a wrinkle. I'm getting an old lady wrinkle right here. Yeah, getting an old lady wrinkle right here. Where? Ooh, see, I have one there too. Ooh, old lady wrinkle there. You have old lady butthole lips. Anyway, yeah. So today is my bi-weekly Be Nice to Me day. Go do nice things for me. Yeah. Go do things that make me feel pretty. Yeah. Yeah. That's what today is for me. Yep. Yep. That is what today is for me. Yesterday. 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 I took a Bikram class. I haven't taken a Bikram class in like over 12 years. Longer than that. No, about that. 12 years ago. 12 years ago, San Francisco. There's a Bikram school in San Francisco. And I had never done Bikram before. I'd done Ashtanga, which is done in a warm room, but not in a hot room. A little bit different. It's not quite as hot in an Ashtanga for Ashtanga, but it's warmer in Ashtanga. The room has to be like 68 to 74 degrees or something. It's a warm room in Ashtanga. Anyway, I decided I was going to try Bikram. So I looked at, I did a little googly search, and a Groupon came up. Right? I was at the Bikram school. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to take a Bikram class. I might as well go and take the, hear it from the horse's mouth, right? I mean, I knew Bikram wasn't going to be there, but, whatever. This was just before the big scandal broke with all the sex in the Bikram school. He was, like, screwing everybody that was taking classes from him, right? It was the same thing with John Friend, and there's been a bunch of them. American yoga guru spinoffs from, they're all spinoffs from Iyengar, right? Like, Iyengar is the guy who brought yoga to the United States. And Mr. Iyengar, as far as I know, was not whoring it up. But no, I think that would have really gone against Light on Yoga, Light on Life. Oh my God, wonderful books. Wonderful books. Highly recommend them. Anyway, I decided I'd buy this Groupon. And I think it was like 5 classes for 65 bucks. I think is what it was. I was like, that's a really good deal. I'll drive over there. And of course, I had to pay for parking and whatever. It's like 10 bucks, 10, 15 bucks for parking. But there was parking nearby. So anyway, it smelled so bad. And everybody that was in the class had was either some weird freakish gym rat bodybuilder. Like, there was one guy that looked like somebody should have been riding him in a rodeo. Like, he was so muscly, it was gross. I'm like, that just looks, I would not, it was not snuggly looking at all. Like, ugh, it was creepy. Or it was women with tons of plastic surgery. That whole class was full of fake tits. Fake tits and stretched faces. And the woman who was teaching the class looked like a space alien. Her face was pulled so tight, and her fake boobs were so big and round. I was totally turned off. I was the only one in the class that except there was one older woman, like, by older, I mean old gray-haired lady, who had natural human-looking bodies, right? And it was creepy, it was a weird vibe, and it stunk like rancid yeast infection and crusty feet, right? The studio stunk so bad. So bad. The floor was carpeted. Yeah, it stunk so bad. But I had paid for these classes, so I went and I took them. I took the 5 classes. Um, and I decided I was never gonna do Bikram again. I'm like, "That is" it creeped me out, right? Whatever. Went on with my life. So, where one of is right now, next door is a hot studio. They don't have Bikram on there. They just say hot, right? Um, and the class was a little bit different than the Bikram class that I took. Some different asanas than what, or I should say, not all of the asanas that we went through in the Bikram class that I took at the Bikram school. Um, and I'd forgotten about the opening breathing. I'd forgotten about that, but I remember that now. Anyway, I had a good sweat, and it was a really good class, and I'll go take that Bikram class again. Yeah, nice and convenient right next to me like that. Only thing is, I have to come home and shower after that. That is, I mean, because I'm a sweaty Betty. I'm a sweaty Betty. Like even when I was in shape, you know, like when I took the Bikram classes at the Bikram school, I was in really good shape, and I was practicing, 3 days a week. That wasn't the only place I was going to take yoga. There were a couple other. There was the yoga school in Piedmont that I was going to, or yoga studio in Piedmont. That's where I was doing the Ashtanga. They had Ashtanga at 6:30 in the morning, a couple days a week, and I was doing Ashtanga there. Yeah, me and like two other people. There was the teacher. There was this guy that came, that this other guy that came in, and this other woman. And usually it was just me and this guy and the teacher. It was really nice early in the morning, so you had lots of room because it was just a handful of us that would come in and do that. Not a lot of people like to do yoga at 6:30 in the morning, right? Mm. And no problem with parking at that time, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, um, sweaty Betty. I'm a sweaty Betty. I am. I'm a sweaty Betty. And just poured sweat yesterday. It felt so good. I was worried, about the smell, but not just about the smell of the room. I knew that their studio didn't smell like the Bikram studio did in San Francisco because I'd stuck my head in a couple times, and while it was right after class, and so it was a little musty, it didn't smell like nasty, right? It was just like, oh, they just had class in here smell. Um, and it didn't smell at all. People weren't stinky, and I was worried about me stinking more so than anybody else because, you know, detoxing or whatever, and I'm a big fat girl. And I was sweating. I could smell myself. I smelled like some vanilla cake. I'm like, "Why do I smell like cake?" I smelled like cake. I'm like, "Okay. I can deal with smelling like cake." I'm like, I would prefer to not smell like cake, but, if I gotta smell like something, I'd rather smell like cake than onions. Oh my god. You know? I smelled like cake. This is what I smell like to me. I don't know. I have to ask the lady next to me what I smell like to you. I smelled like cake. Yeah, but oh my god. Oh my god. Like it was nice to be able to check in with my body that way and ways that I know, I used to be able to move that are now inhibited because of the injury. Woman that next was next to me, she was funny. Like she made a total ego judgment call and thought I was making an ego judgment call on myself. After class, she like felt the need to like comfort me. Like, well, at least you're showing up. There were a couple things that I used to be able to grab my foot and, behind, and I can't because of the injury to the injury to my hip. and the injury to my shoulder and arm. Like, my right arm doesn't move the way it used to move. And I was, it was just like, whoa, abrupt. I had to use my strap a couple times in places that I didn't normally have to. Um, anyway, she's like, at least you're showing up. And I'm looking at her, and I just laughed when I realized that she thought like I was like, feeling self-conscious or something, and I wasn't. I was just, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh God, at least you can still walk, Larissa. It was just kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, okay, thank you. Oh, I'm like, at least you